us today. Well, let's start actually. It was very interesting when I got a few of your suggestions for liking some of the organizations that repeatedly you were sending me through Facebook. That were condemning the genocide, ongoing genocide in Gaza by Israel.
Yeah.
And that was very interesting for me. And I'm very glad that you are in a right side of the history at this moment. While we had, if you remember, we had an argument in 2016 regarding to be under umbrella of Israel and appear in United Nations under their umbrella, which it wasn't in the categories. And of course, I oppose such a suggestion. Anyway, back to the chatting, actually. Would it be possible to give us a brief review of your background so our friends would get to know you better? It would be appreciated, actually. I appreciate it if you do so. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So my name is Bosco Mariyaadas. I'm Tamil origin, and actually I leave the country because of the war in Sri Lanka. So I live in Paris, in France. I arrived in France when I was 9-year-old, and I'm graduate on politics science and international law.
Yes.
And for last 25 years, I'm activist on human rights issue. Specifically, I work on all the human rights issue regarding the right to self-determination. It's my primary aim. So I work with a lot of people who are seeking for their right to self-determination, like Kurdish people, South Yemen, Southern Cameroons, Ambazonian. So, you know, more than we are a network of 22 different nations in a group. So we try to give voice from Geneva and also in Brussels with the European Parliament.
Right. Just I had a question. When you were talking about the appeal for self-determination in Sri Lanka for Tamil ethnics, because I just was following the news in 2009, I guess it was 2009 that you have got that one, right? At one point. And many of the, like, including India, they just admit your self-determination and called the second state, right? In Sri Lanka. So it was combined, the state of Sri Lanka, all in all, it was combined of two states, right? For a while.
Yeah.
What happened to that?
I mean, if you want the history of the Tamil people, you know, it was in Sri Lanka, there was a 3 kingdom, one Tamil kingdom and 2 Sinhala kingdom.
Yes.
And, you know, there was 3 colonizer, first one Portuguese, then Hollandaise, then the third one, it's UK, English people.
Yes.
So the third one, they put together all 3 kingdom in the same administration. And in 1836, then when they go back, I mean, when they decolonize, they do the wrong decolonization. That means they give the power to the majority of the people in Sri Lanka, so it's singles. So from 48, I mean, from 1948 until now, Tamil people, we are living under singular occupation. So,
that's right.
So first the 30 years, Tamil used to fight, you know, with the ahimsa, so pacifically. Then after that, there was in 76, there was a Vatukote resolution. It's kind of a referendum that the Tamil politician, they asked to the Tamil people that if there is no any negotiation, that the young people can take the arms and they can continue the struggle for have a separate state. So from that, there was a lot of there was a lot of military Tamil group formed, and the LTT predominate from the year 83. So they they are recognized as the legitimate army of the Tamil people from the year 83 this time. Then there was 26 year of the war, and the problem is in there was a there was a peace talk and Scandinavian countries like Norway, Sweden, and Japan, and also Swiss. But unfortunately, during the peace talk, the European Union, they put, and also Canada, US, they put LTT as a terrorist organization.
When was this one exactly? What year? What year did this happen?
The US, it was in 1998 or 7. But the EU, it was in UK and EU, it was in 2002, and Canada also in 2002. So the result.
2002, it was right before the main genocide that it happened in 2003, I guess.
I mean, there was a peace talk. So during the peace talk, the Western countries they decided to block or to punish one of the part who were on the peace talk. So they decided to punish Tamil, I mean LTT. So because of that stupid decision, Tamil people, Tamil people, we are about 20% of the Tamils, we are living outside of the Sri Lanka, 500,000.
Yeah.
So that's mean nearly 2 million of Tamil people, we are living outside of the Sri Lanka. And the fact is, in Sri Lanka, during the peace talk, the Sri Lanka was helped by Iran, Israel, US, Pakistan. More than 21 countries helped Sri Lanka to make that genocidal war from October 2008 to May 2009. We are talking about 175,000 people who were killed or are missing.
Actively, so it was Pakistan. As I remember, it was Pakistan and India. Not India, actually. Pakistan mainly. They provide weapons, military weapons.
Yes. Yeah. The chemical weapons.
Yes. And so it was backed with the US also, USA also, US, and England.
Israel.
And England,
Israel.
If they were active in 2003, after 2003, they were not active that much. England, right? In genocide.
In England, they were much active after. I mean, the problem is because of their decision. And they were also main sponsor of the decision by European Union the ban against LTT.
That's right. That's right.
That is one of the reasons for why Tamil we face the genocide.
It's exactly the same. If you look at the pattern, it's the same pattern that is ongoing at the moment in Gaza's issue.
Gaza,
definitely Israel never could continue this genocide, or we will not be in here if they were not backed by the USA and European Union, that is includes England and France and others. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So there is one thing as I researched actually, there was a huge crash for the left wing, because Sri Lanka, you had the system of the communal for a while, right? When you got independency, then the system was based on communal organizations, right? And you had, and then from there was a window was open for some organization to arouse the left wing as socialists and communist organizations, but they've been crashed so bad. They apparently they were not active since. I don't remember. It was in 90s or 80s this happened.
It was from 80s, from 19s. There was the JVP. It's called. It's left wings of the singular people, and they killed over. I mean, Sri Lankan government. They killed or enforced disappear more than 60,000 people in period of 10 years.
Yeah, but the nationalists, ethno-nationalists in even Tamil ethno-nationalist right wing, they were actually accommodate the government to do so, to do this crashing, or wasn't?
No. I mean, you know, the thing is, during the 86, 87, there was the Indian peace talk.
Right.
In the Indian force keepers, they were in Tamil areas. So the results, the singular government, they returned their violence against JVP. I mean, the leftist. So they killed during that period from 86 to 91. Right. They killed or they enforced disappear over 60,000 people.
And those 60,000 people, they were socialists. They were member of the socialist organizations. That's it. It was practically a genocide that somehow they put it under the carpet. You have to dig. Like, I had to dig for this information because I knew I met some of the socialist, members even in Toronto. And then if you look at the media and so on, you can't find this story. You have to dig hard.
Because one of the reasons on the media, we can't find any information because Sri Lankan state, they do a lot of work for erase all kind of, I mean, even, you know, they spend one American company for nearly 5 million per year or per month, I don't know. But they spend a lot of money for take all the reference on the Google or on internet, you know.
That's right.
So, for example, when you see about 15 years ago, there were a lot of videos and information on YouTube and also on Google and on internet. But unfortunately, from 2010 until 2015, they spend over nearly $5 million per month for erase all those information. First. Second, there is also Sri Lanka is reputed for to be, they are very clever,
right?
And they used very well the international diplomacy. For example, Sri Lanka, in terms of the staff, diplomatical staff,
right?
They represent, for a small country like Sri Lanka. There was around 6,000 staff. You know, it's a very big. If you compare with other countries, they were around 12 or 13 position. You know, in terms of the presence diplomatic around the world. So this is how Sri Lanka eradicate all their and they hide everything like this. And also for example, when I take the example from the Tamil genocide,
you're talking about the position for the ruling government, right? Staff. Okay. Because so the Tamil, they don't have any place in that positions, right?
Tamil people, we don't have specifically any staff or anything because we don't have any support from any countries first.
That's right.
Second, when they try to act or when they try to be activist, they immediately, there is, the Sri Lanka make false information, and we are assimilated to the terrorism.
Yes.
This is a big problem we are facing even now. Can you imagine? For last 15 years?
They put you on the list of the terrorists. Since when? Because up to 2009, as I said before, and as it appears in social media, apparently you were declared as independent as second state, right? Second state in Sri Lanka from 2009.
No, we were not declared as a second state. Just, during the peace talk, there was, there was the peace talk with with the mediator, the Scandinavian countries and Japan. But unfortunately, those countries, they don't do any support for Tamil people to make or to do the process for recognize as a separate country. So unfortunately, so Sri Lanka, they leave the peace talk from end of the 2006. Then, they prepare the war and they do the genocide between, as I said before, between October 2008 and May 2009.
Right.
They killed or imposed disappear over 175,000 people. It's it's a very huge number.
Yes.
So this is what we are facing. I mean, and unfortunately, even the Western media, they don't give importance for what is going on. So and
but
also
somehow in southern of the Colombo, actually, southern of that is occupied by the Tamils. They have, like, if you go through YouTube, you see even Tamils, they have their own military state, right? Military.
No, we don't have any military.
Universities.
No. In North and East, I mean, in North and East, we had our own military arms group, but the LTT was defeated, and from until from May 2009 until now, there is no any Tamil military people presence or anything. I mean, there's nothing. We are living under military occupation, like Kurdish people in Kurdistan, Kurdish people in Iran. I mean, for example, the difference with Iran and Kurdish people in Turkey, they have armed, but in Iran, the Kurdish people, they don't have arms. So we
have, but is not active. We have some part right wing mainly, and it's like ethno-nationalists. We have them, but they're not active practically. Practically. But then there was, I know, in 2009 in Tamil, first of all, they terror your leader, right? The Tamil's main leader. And then after that, but somehow certain thing has been changed, especially among the youth, that you switch to no more leader, but more go for representative. This went even for the Sri Lanka itself. I mean, the ruling government, after what happened, like it was 2022, that there was a huge demonstration, and it was kind of,
there was the huge demonstration from 2001 until 2002.
But
I mean, for Tamil people, there is no any change. We are still living under military occupation in North and East. There are around 600,000 military or paramilitary people or military-related family people are occupying Tamil's land, and we are facing everyday military occupation, like Palestinian people in Gaza.
That's right.
We are living under military occupation. And unfortunately, the situation is really worse now. But the Western media or the Western NGOs, they don't cover it. For example, until now, if you can see, none of the international big organization, big human rights organization, recognize in Sri Lanka Tamils are victims. They just say in Sri Lanka there are communities are victims, or there are minorities are victims. The problem is in Sri Lanka,
right?
Among the last 40 years, there was more than 300,000 people who were killed, and about 97% of the people, they are Tamils. So in Sri Lanka, the victims are Tamils. And for example,
sorry, are you talking about in a region that the ruling government is governing, right?
Yeah.
You're talking about at that region.
Yeah.
You're talking about the uprising, right? The suppression of uprising and outcome of it. Main victims, again, they were the Tamils, not the Sinhalese. Sinhalese. So not the Sinhalese at the Tamils. Because after the replacement, actually, many of the refugees from the southern, they had to, they forced to actually move and leave the region.
From the north.
And some actually they are living under the ruling government region, right? Some are as a workers, and as you said, it's like a second citizen. They count on them as a second citizens in the working class.
I mean, we are facing apartheid. In Sri Lanka, Tamil people, we are facing some kind of apartheid. That's mean, for example, because we are Tamil, we are not Sinhalese, we are not Buddhist, because among the Sinhala people, there are around 90% are Buddhist and 10% are Christian. Among Tamil people, you have about 65% are 60% are Hindu, and 25% are Muslim, and around 50%, 15% are Christian. Yeah. So that's mean among Tamil people, we don't have any specifically any kind of religious issue, but even the Sri Lankan constitution, it's say only a Buddhist person can be a president. So this kind of discrimination, it's illegal, and it's also against all the international conventions, on international convention on civil and political rights. But unfortunately, Sri Lanka, for example, the world the world say South Korea, North Korea, they are extremists, they are bad regime. They said Myanmar, it's a bad regime. But for Sri Lanka, none of those countries, they said nothing against Sri Lanka. This is very important, that show that Sri Lanka is supported at the same time by Iran and also by Israel. Sri Lanka is supported by US and also by Russia. So Sri Lanka is supported by...
I want to open if you don't mind, jump into this one, because Israel, as I understood, it's just like playing a game between, right? In one hand, helping the ruling government to oppress, and another hand is showing the friendly face to Tamils outside of the Sri Lanka, isn't it?
I mean, Israel. Israel. They helped military. So they helped Sri Lankan military to do the genocide process against Tamil people.
Active.
I mean, they gave, you know, they sell the aircraft. So, in Sri Lankan Air Force, there are 3 aircraft are from Israel. So I mean, they used to help Sri Lanka for a long time. And also, just about 1 year ago, Israeli intelligence, they were in Sri Lanka to show how they hide the genocide, everything.
Right.
So I mean, you know, Sri Lanka is now reputed to be one of the country who can do. I mean, it's a reference for the impunity, you know. So,
yeah.
So nearly, for example.
But then the question is coming back to our argues in 2017 that Lorenzo was suggesting me to appear with my guest under the umbrella of Israel, and he was very like the way that he was talking. It was just like you had a relation in United Nations. You were in one umbrella with Israel, wasn't that?
No, never.
But that was he was suggesting me. I mean, I was
no. I mean, you know, I'm always with the victims, so I will never be in part of any country. You know, I'm always. I mean, in Geneva, in European Parliament, in New York, we also we always give voice for voiceless people. So we will never work with any country.
United Nations. I mean, we know that right now. All the world knows that United Nations doesn't have a good credential in regard to defending the victims. Always, after by end of the day, they cover up for the oppressors mainly.
But you know, one of the reasons, the problem is one of the reasons for why this is like this, because you know, when you see nearly around 85% of the money spent for the lobbying,
right?
They are spent by the Zionists. I mean, the Jewish people. So they control everything first.
Right.
Second, all the people who are, you know, who fight for freedom or who are on the street. The problem is they don't do the proper work with the UN mechanism. For example, about 8-9 months ago, if we doesn't meet the South African president and talk with him and about explain him that they have to take initiative to do something regarding Palestinian.
Right.
None of the country will do this. But when South Africa came, it showed that it can be different. I mean, there is the possibilities, but we need to work strongly. For example, inside of the United Nations, we have to be present. You know, we should be the present inside and continue to work. I mean, it's a slow process, but it can be changed.
But you took the politic trick, which in my view, it's like a reactionary actually, because historically didn't help the oppressees. So it was like enemy of my enemy is my friend. That was the argument we had with Lord. So, you're right.
Yeah, but you know, as I said, until now, you know, as I said before, until now, for example, the process with the ICC, it's gives some kind of little hope. You know, it's not. I'm not saying that it's 100% we are going to win. It's not that, but the process, if we can do and if we continue to work together, we can make the change. For example, there was the under article.
Yeah, but international court. I mean the ICC. have ruled order, actually, render an order against Israel, but practically it was just lip service mainly, because in practice there wasn't any enforcement element for implementation.
That's why I told you that it's a long process. The first thing is, for me, it's historic that for the first time there was the ICC requested to have Benjamin Netanyahu to the court. So it's a first victory. But and also, for example, all the country who signed the ICC, if Netanyahu he go to those countries, he can be arrested. So it's a first step. You understand?
Actually, I'm not very optimistic with this one. Why? Because first of all, we know there is way further than, I mean, first of all of this genocide is outcome of the colonization process. From starting even from Kurdish, from Tamils, from Gaza, Palestine, I should say. So it's outcome of that, but mainly this colonization is ruling under the capitalist system, under the imperialist system. So if you say after all, like it's about 2 years ongoing genocide, like it's unprecedented. If you go back to the history, what is going on in Gaza, it just in a light in day, you can see on the face of the people around the world how this happened, how this genocide happens, and then yet they are talking about two people. One is Netanyahu, another one is the leader of the Hamas. To bring, after all of the protests, like international protesting is going on, international movement, and it's very strong.
That's why I told you that there is a little change, but you know, that's why we need to continue on that way. I mean, for example, as I said, I'm you know, in Hague, when there was the meeting with the South African president, with the civil society members, we supported him. That means, for example, you know, Western countries, they were not ready to support. But when, as the NGOs, as the civil society, we support him and we give him the courage to do so, then they started the process. So now the problem is the process is engaged, and this is you know, the decision from the ICC and also ICJ. It's a big changement, you know, because as I told you, the Israeli lobby, it's very huge, you know. They represent more than $300 billion. They have to for make strong their lobby. When you see for all other people around the world, they don't spend more than 50 billion. You understand the process? So what I'm telling you is just we have to continue on that way, and this is the unique way to find a solution. Otherwise, if we don't do the process, I have fear that we lost everything. And now the problem is, you know, anyone can say anything, but there is a decision. And now also, you know, there is I don't know if you follow, but you know that you have Ireland, North Ireland, you have Spain, you have Norway, and as soon there will be also country like Austria and other countries are going to recognize Palestine, you know. So this is, I mean, this is a long process, but we need to make pressure. I mean, if we don't continue the pressure, they have, as I told you, they have 300 billion for make their lobbying. I mean, they use just with the interest of the money from the 300 billion. They spend nearly, a lot of money for that. So that's why we need to, as a alternative movement, we need to show our solidarity, and we need to continue and push on that way. Unfortunately, for example, when I say in France, you have a lot of people when there is a manifestation, and that's all. They don't do anything. I mean, what we need to do, it's for example, if they can spend, if all the people who manifest, if they can spend around 1 hour per week, then they can make the change. Unfortunately, we don't do that though. So that's why, for example, in France, I'm talking in France because I show directly what is happening, at the Assemblée Nationale. I mean, the French Parliament. You have always 100 Swiss people who are present inside, but all other people who are, for example, with our network of organization, we have about 20 organizations who have access to the Assemblée Nationale, but we don't have any support, so for going inside, and also need to prepare the documentation for the parliamentarians. This is how it functions. But Israel, they have their own lobbyists. They are working as a salary, So that's why it's a urgent problem, and we need to cover everything. I mean, that's why, for example, Geneva, it's a very good process. So if you know any young people, please send them. We can. I mean, they need to learn the process. For example, at the human rights mechanism, you have 9 treaty bodies. You have 46 rapporteurs special. So to all the 9 treaty bodies, you can make compliance. When you do so every day.
This one is like a bureaucratic system. That's what I meant by we have to do something essential. I mean, a real essential act. It would be
but there is
what is the root cause? The root cause is
I know, but
system and infrastructure of the society. If you don't touch that one, then we continue under.
I mean, the problem is the problem is you have to understand that UN system. It's it's 193 countries.
Yeah,
and if you want to make the change. If you want to make the change for inside of those countries, we have to use their mechanism. This is how it's function. If we don't, for example, when I was young, I also said no, it's too long, extra. But when I go inside, I can see that we can make the change. But we need more. We need more people who are involved inside and work together and make voice and continue to talk to everyone, every day. This is how it's functioned. But unfortunately, when you see the Tamil people issue, about 8 years ago, we were around 170 people inside of the UN at the same time. Now we are only about 40 people at the same time. Why? Because even Tamil people, we lost, the aim to fight. What I'm telling is, if we use the process, we can make the change. Unfortunately, all the people who talk outside, we can make the change. We can't make the change. If you want to make the change, we have to be inside and work with the system and try to make the. I mean,
but that system has made to actually to sustain what is going on. It's like what is the system, you know, is to sustain the system. They have this kind of organization. It's just a bureaucratic organization. It goes on and on and on to, by end of the day, in benefit of the beneficial, actually, it's beneficial process for the oppressors, governments around the world. So it's not for the people against the system. That's the truth. That's what we see.
Yes,
if you are in the organization, just like a parliamentary, look at it, how it goes, you know,
but you know, as I told you, for example, the resolution taken by the Canadian Parliament regarding Tamil genocide, it's a first step. You know, that's why I'm telling you that I agree. It's a bureaucratic system, but we have to do with we can make the change only with working with them. If we don't do that means we are also spectator of the genocide. So that's why I'm telling that we need to understand the process and work in the process. If you don't do if you are not inside, well, no one inside will know what is going on for you. You know, this is the system. If you want to make the change, you have to be inside. I know my colleagues from Kurdish people like Azad. You know, they do a lot of work, but they are not supported by anyone.
Yeah,
you understand?
There is a reason. They not belong to the movement at all. Somebody like Azad, it's just a person over there. And what is his idea and what he's representing is ethno-nationalist. It's a right wing, and not many people are interested in, because they don't change the system, which we're talking about, the class antagonism. It comes from there. Right now, we were talking about the Tamil workers under the ruling government in Sri Lanka 2 years ago, when they crashed and when they suppressed the uprising. Who got the most like punishment? It was, as you mentioned, it was the Tamil workers, right? In there, because they are second citizens, right? They are second or mainly third citizens by the under the government, you know, in Sri Lanka. So if you go to it, you have to change the system. You have to recognize, like analyze and recognize that all its outcome of the class antagonism. Still, you have the caste system.
You know, I'm telling you that, you know, if we go in that way, we can't make the change. That's why I'm telling you, if you want, but you know, in my experience, I can tell you, when I go inside 25 years ago, I was a terrorist. I can't get inside. So what I do is I learn the process. Now I can bring, with all the partner organization, I can bring more than 300 people inside. Because why? Because I try to make I try to understand the process, and we try to make the change. And for example, when there was the resolution in 2015, they don't recognize what is going on for Tamil people. But now, the last resolution, there's a little change. That's mean, if we work with the system and if we continue to make the noise, we can make the change. But the problem is, if you totally reject the system, then you are also some kind of complice of the genocide, what is going on, because we have to be strong activists. If we can act, then they can stop. For example, when there was, as I told you about 7 months ago, the meeting with the South African president, believe me, we were around 200 civil society members. And we tried to explain him all the process, and because one of the reasons they were assisted, because they had fear about the cost. Right. Then all the organization, we said we will support. We can do all the work for that. We can do all the paperwork. This is how it's function also, because so I mean, you know, South Africa, it's not US. US, they have $1 trillion and $1 trillion. But when you want to win the process with the UN mechanism or human rights or ICC mechanism, we need to spend a lot of time and a lot of money, and a lot of people have to work. So that's why I'm telling that. Yeah, I agree. I'm not for that system, but the problem is we have to make the change by going in the system. Otherwise, the system will totally destroy all the people. So instead to watch and be the how to say, the spectator of the genocide, I prefer to make the voice go inside and try to make a small change.
I don't mind as a diplomacy, actually. You're talking about, there is two things. One is taking as a blueprint, you know, just go under the umbrella of the bureaucracy and just dissolve in such a system. Another way is time to time appear to use this, you know, I don't count on it so much, but at least be the voice of the voiceless, as you meant by that. But then not dissolve in the system. That's two different things. If you dissolve and if you just take like all your hopes or all your eggs in one basket and go under the United Nations and say, this is the place that everything will happen, the change in society. I think it's just a, what they call it, it's just pure dreaming and has nothing to the reality, because what we see, there is no credential, there is they have a history, repeatedly, you know, they betrayed, you know, the United Nations has and repeatedly they're doing so, you know, they're betraying people.
Yeah, but
and
the problem, that's why I'm telling you, we have to make the change. I mean, if you don't come and say what is going on, you know, there is I mean, as I told you, for example, when I give you the example of the human rights mechanism, you have 9 treaty bodies, you have 46 special procedure methodologies. So we have to use them. We can make the change. That's mean it's a long process, but we have to do that. Otherwise, we can. I mean, we can be just you know, say sorry. Oh, there's a genocide, but say sorry. That's all. So I instead to say sorry, I prefer to counter that and go inside and make noise. For example, as I told you,
the actual noise, it will happen on the street. That's what I'm trying to say. ICC never got to this point, actually, to have the power, like moral power, because
but the problem is you can't make the change. I mean, no, my friend, you know,
I'm just saying without all
no,
of
my friend, on the street you can't make the change. It's you know, nowadays it's not possible.
Exactly. So,
but inside, if you just as I told you, just if you can by yourself, I mean, if you go to the treaty bodies, for example, every day, if we send 100 testimony or 100 pledge to the, for example, Human Rights Committee, they will say, okay, listen, Israel, we have 100 plans against Israel because they are doing so. The problem is we don't do that. You understand the process? That's why I'm telling that it's not easy, but if we can do it, we can make the change. But I don't say it will be the full change. You know, U.S. or I mean, for U.S. there was about 20. I mean, for my part, we never go to any events organized by U.S. or Iran or Israel. We never go. But for example, when it's organized by South Africa, we go because we show them our solidarity. This is how we function. But what I'm saying is, if you compare everything, we can make the change. You understand what I'm trying to say? It's not like everything it's white, everything it's black. You know, we have to, we can make our choice. I mean, if you want to go to the Iranian issue, it's your choice. Me personally, with our organization network, we never go to any Iranian events or anything because we are always with the victims, and we always support the victims, and we will never support the oppressor or the government who do the violation against those people. This is our principle. For example, even China organizes something, we never go because China, what Chinese people are doing for, I mean, what China is doing for Uyghur people, it's very worst. So we are always, for example, for my part, I'm very supportive of Uyghur people.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much again for giving us time and still your time. Do you have anything to like in 1 minute for our listeners? And I want to say something interesting. I just took a screenshot. I noticed over 200, actually 200 or 300 people, they attend, and I can see, perhaps you see people in it, right, the page. And if you notice on top of there, it just say 4 at, you know, at the most shows 4 or 5 people, sometimes only 1, to try to push people not join the conversation. You know, this is the system that you talk about. Everybody's free to express their ideas. No, we are under the censorship, you know. We know that one. So anyhow, I had to mention that one. But go ahead, please.
I mean, what I'm saying, it's, you know, I know the system, it's very difficult and it's corrupted, but we have to work with the system, and we can make, I mean, for my part, I can see the difference because when I started 26 years ago, it was really impossible. But now I realize a lot of change. But what I need now, more people. It's the same for example, when I take the example of the Kurdish people, they even don't have, before there was no any ECOSOC accredited organization. Now there is about 4 or 5 Kurdish organization. It's a big change.
So this organization is different than the Azad organization. You're talking about.
I mean,
oh, really? Oh, okay. I thought it's only one organization. So it's. Oh,
no. I mean,
you're talking about
there is about
Iranian Kurdish or all the regions Kurdish in.
I mean, they are talking about all the region Kurdish. For example, there is one organization from Kurdistan, from Iraqi Kurdistan. And there is also other organization from European countries. So, I mean, now there is also, I think there are 5 or 6 now. So,
6. Oh, okay.
What I'm telling is, it was impossible about 10 years ago. You understand? So we try, for example, it's a long process, but we try, we give voice, we continue to work. So it's possible if everyone give a hand together, we can make the change. So
yes.
Anyway, thank you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It was great. I enjoy our conversation and I learned a lot. Thank you so much. Have a great evening, and see you again, hopefully, in another time.
Thank you.
And have a wonderful evening by now. Take care. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay,
and thank you for our listeners. Unfortunately, we didn't have opportunity to bring you up to join the conversation. Maybe for next time. Have a wonderful evening, all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.